Hello. The next few uploads will be in honor of Mohbad, who recently passed away. And just with his passing, these songs and his music is the last voice that he has. So a lot of people have been reaching out asking for the translations. And I know me as well, I've been listening to a lot of his songs. So rest in peace, Mohbad. And pay attention to this little voice in the background. I always missed it, but until I looked up the lyrics to this song is when I was able to hear it. So that voice here, that first sound, it says, "The wind will come to steal the words I say." And as I understand that, winds, that's a higher force. So Mohbad is pretty much just saying, like, the words he's speaking, there's a higher force that's going to grab it and, just essentially, well, if I were to use this as a caution to someone, I would say, be careful what you say, because you never know who's listening, So it's the idea that what he's saying, it has meaning, it's going to enter, it's going to produce something, if that makes sense. So he says he's on silent mode, but beast need me. That means, but I'm still a beast. And he says that he can be violent, but still he is peace. So Mohbad is saying that just because he's defaulting to something doesn't mean he can't be on the others. He can't be on the other extreme. So don't get it confused. You don't have to out me before you win. You don't have to kill somebody before you sing. And this here is English. It's just the idea that you don't have to do everything to abuse someone. The little things can start to affect someone. Be cautious. Now, in Nigeria, when people are using the internet or they're browsing, they have to subscribe to data. They have to use some kind of data subscription to have access to stream and things like that. So Mohbad here says that you cannot browse. Shale browse. You can't browse without using subscription. So he's playing with the idea that in order to browse, you depend on this data subscription. And then likewise, he says you cannot go far without God. So to browse, you need data. And to go far in life, you need to rely on God. You need to have God in your life. And then he says, Moduro Toluwa. Duro means to stay. So, and then Oluwa is the Lord. So he's saying, so he's staying with the Lord and he's relying on the Lord. So Konisherua means so that it will not happen to us, so that bad things will not happen to us. So he knows that God has his backing, and it's God that guides him. Even if Afuan, Labo, Abo is a plate, and then Belu spoon is spoon. So he's saying, even if I give you, he's talking to his enemies here, even if I give you a plate and a spoon, you use a plate and a spoon to eat, even if I give you everything, Kole Jojua means that they cannot eat our eyes. Oju is eyes. So Mohbad is saying, even if I give you everything I have, my riches, my everything about me, you can't put me to shame. You can't disgrace me. So he's saying he still has that backing. He's still relying on God. You can't completely defeat him. And he says, "Emi madepti bad," like he's been a bad guy from a long time ago. And then he says, back in 1990, when they used to beat the drum, Ilu is drum, and then Bati Bati is like the sound that they make. So he said for years he's been a bad guy. He's not new to any of this kind of stuff. And he says there's times he can feel bad, like he has those moments, but he says, but now he feels good. And then he says, and I even feel even better. Surulere Biojulegba. Surulere and Ojuelegba, there are both places in Lagos, which is a state in Nigeria. However, surulere, this means like patience. Suru is patience, and then ere is gain. So it means patience before the gain, or patience that gets gain. And when people say this, it means like, you know, that patience before you get that breakthrough is like the time that you're hustling. You're trying to make ends meet. You're out there, you know, trying to produce, trying to go hard. And then he says that patience became Oju Elegba. And Oju Elegba is a busy area, you know, the markets, you sell, people buy. So what Mohbad is saying now is that he feels good, because now those times when he was hustling and life wasn't easy and he was trying to make, you know, ends meet, now he's produced. Now is busy. He produces music, we want him. So now everybody's attracted to him. So his life has changed. And then he says, Torikpe, because that Mo Wonkon, like he's looking forward, because he's focused, one Sokpe Mo on drugs. So he's saying because he's focused on now, people are accusing him of being on drugs. And if you're aware of like the recent events that are happening, his label did say that he's not in his right sense of mind. Like before he passed away, they've mentioned that he's just doing a lot of things that he's not in his right sense of mind. So Mohbad is coming out saying that, no, you guys are accusing me wrongly because you know I'm focused and I'm looking forward. And then he says that now Mowa on top, which is now I'm on top. He's saying now he's stepped on top now. And then he says his life will not contour. And when you contour, like we think of makeup, it means you shift something, you do it a certain way so it can look different. But what he's saying is now that he's on top, his life will not go upside down. And then he says he Mobawan ni Niger. So he ran into them in Nigeria. Niger is another word for Nigeria. And then he also ran into them in London. So he's like, the people that are coming for him, they try to get him in Nigeria and they try to get him in London. And then he says Mofuwan ni KPK. KPK and Kwamo were songs that Mohbad has released years ago when he was under his old label. So he's saying that I've already gave you guys these songs. And just KPK, that was one of Mohbad's biggest songs. That's that song that's like, and then when you say something's Okbo, it means it's plenty, it's big. So it's like, it was like a call and answer, call and response kind of song where it was like a lot of just hypeness and all. So Mohbad's like, I gave you those good songs. I gave you that already. And then he says, Light Boy, Montono. And Light Boy is, if you know his name, Imole, that is Yoruba for light. And then Montono means like you light something up. So Mohbad is like, I gave you guys that, and my light is still here. Like he still has oil. His oil still day his head. Like he's still anointed. He's still glorious. So he's just like, don't think that you coming after me and you guys doing all this, no matter what, I will still produce and give you and be a quality person. And then he says, my mom and my dad, mommy me, auntie, daddy me, one can question me, that they're questioning him. One that means like, where did you see this kind of vibe? And then Owa is hand, and then they ask, is it from a demon's hand that you got this kind of vibe? Like they're just confused, like Mohbad acting like this after all you've been through, you're able to just be so, and they're asking, like they're questioning, like how did you become like this? How did you become so resistant and things like that? I want to senior me. That means if you say someone's your senior, that means they're older. So he's saying people that are older than him. One, Barry is to ask. And he's like, they asked me, where did you see this money? How are you still successful? And then I want Timo Jula means the people that I am older than. So Mohbad is saying his juniors now, people younger than him, they photocopy him. They want to be like him. He's their role model. And then he says his first cash out, he bought a bazooka, so a gun. And then he says that Moko Fun, I want sharpshooter, so he gave it to people who know how to use it. So essentially he's saying that once he cashed out and he was able to get money and get himself set, he got security around him. He made sure that he had the right people around him who would defend him. And then Emma Binu means, if you tell someone Emma Binu, that means don't be upset. And then Timba Dasita, essentially don't be offended if the people that I hired or the people, my security men are shooting, like, because this is what this is what I essentially hired them to do. And that's the sound that a gun makes. And he says, for anyone that's fake around me, people that are trying to come after me, you will collect. I want to shame me. The people that want to shame me, wo mo shameless. It means like, look, I'm shameless. No matter how hard you try, no matter everything you do to try to shame me, Mohbad says, I will not receive shame. And then one fest stain white me means they want to stain my white. If you say that someone wants to stain your white, that means they want to speak bad on your character. They want to abuse you and accuse you wrongly. Like, just imagine if you have a white, if I had a white shirt on and I spilled something on it, I stained my white. And we all know to clean white, you have to put bleach, you have to do so much. So when you say someone stains white, it means that it takes you a while to clean it up. So he's saying that people are trying to say lies and say things on him so that they can stain his white to make him look bad. But he's like, he's stainless. It doesn't get to him. People know his true character, and so they can't put lies and bad things on his name. So he says, I want the people that left him, that have cut ties with Mohbad, that want realness. Re is to see. So he's saying they won't see real people outside. Essentially, he's saying that he's the realest of them all. So they've lost something valuable. And then he says that Torique mo silence, like, because I'm silent doesn't mean that it's a weakness. He's like, people sometimes, and we know it, when you see silent people, you think that you can abuse them and you can do anyhow to them. And he's saying my silence is not a weakness. And sometimes, sometimes silence is people's power, because people want them to react. People always want to see people react. And I've seen videos where his label have even said that Mohbad is not a fighter. He doesn't really fight. He doesn't get into all that. So Mohbad is like, don't think because I'm silent that I'm weak. And this part here, it sounds like he's just shouting out a lot of his friends, different names of, I guess, his guys, people around him that have supported him.
So,
Oshama means like, you know how it is. And he's like, they don't have anyone like me. The ones that they have, they're fake. They're not real. They're not original. Like, if you say something's not original, it means it's fake. So he's like, I was one of the realest. And he's like, they want to be close to me, but All right, and that's pretty much the end of the song. If you have any comments, if I missed something, or if you want to add, please put it in the comments below. Thank you. Take care. God bless.